And second of all, you don't forget the people who helped you, boost you up, and help you continue whatever you're doing along the way. So I wanted to make sure that I came by. I know that there was some question of whether or not the chief was going to come. One of the things I asked Mr. Renshaw, do you want me to talk about crime? I know a little bit about that, or did you want me to talk about zoning? And I consulted with the director, Ms. Sara Bardin, sitting to my left, and said, well, I've committed myself to something, and I know I can't talk about any particular cases or any subject matter, but what can I talk about? And she came up with process. So what I'd like to do at this time, if you have process questions as we go along, I will be an answer, but I'll just tell you up front.
I've just been introduced to the zoning process within the last year. I've been in DC my whole life. You know, I'm just now getting involved in this because things started affecting me and my family and my community. And when I've been to a couple of these community meetings where the developers come, and then there's backlash from the community, you know, in the meeting, I've heard from 2 different developers to say they're going to approve me anyway. So I want to ask you, how do you feel about that when developers just come into the city with this attitude, they're going to approve me anyway, so why, you know, we don't have to worry about what you all are saying. They have said that. I've heard them say they're going to approve me anyway with the Wheeler Road case and with this Congress, I'm sorry, with 2 cases. So I want to know, how do you feel about developers just coming in with this smug attitude of they're going to approve me anyway? And another question I have about environmental impacts, about the environmental impact of not just the land but of the people of the environment, because I think that should be inclusive in environmental impact. Are you concerned about the displacement pressures from these PUDs? Are you concerned about what is happening to the people that are affected by these PUDs? And if you are concerned about it, how do you carry out that concern? What do you do about that?
So the last question, I'm not going to answer that. I think you know as well as I do, that's a live case, a live situation in front of us for the most part. The first question, that's something. I'm not going to say that's hearsay. I'm not going to say I don't believe you. I'm not going to say I do believe you. But I can tell you that I know stuff like that goes on. It goes on a lot of places. But for me, I don't have no tolerance for that. And I think people have seen me. I don't have a lot of tolerance with, because at the end of the day, and if you've ever watched me down there, that's why I say you got to watch what's going on. You heard me, and I'll say this because this has nothing to do with no cases. I've said it in a number of cases. The people who are going to have to endure whatever's done are those who live here. A lot of developers and people who do certain things, they don't live in the neighborhood, and I understand that. So to me, I called it years ago the better, the good neighbor policy. That's what I like to call it. I don't know if there's one out there, but I always call it the good neighbor policy. And I believe that's how people should act. Do we need development? Yeah. But should people be respectful of our neighborhoods? Because at the end of the day, I have development in my neighborhood. A lot of people want to know how I got on the zoning commission. Guess how I got on? Trash. Trash transfer stations. That was the worst thing going on. I hear somebody said talk is cheap.
Yeah, I think it is.
It is.
Because why don't you do something about it? Okay, you talk about it.
Here's another thing. I didn't come for a gripe session. I didn't come for a gripe session.
My question is, when are you going to retire? You've been on this job 16 years, and I think it's time for you to go. Right? Well, 16 years is a long time. We need new leadership, and it's time for you to go.
That's fine. That's fine. That's your opinion.
It is my opinion.